Call the city council meeting to order. Welcome everyone on a cold night here. And I'm having trouble getting on the computer. Maybe I've done it now. So first of all, roll call. Council member Martinez will be here in a little while, but we're joined by Council member Shiltz, Mayor Pro Tem McFerren, Council member Dominguez, and Council member Parizek. So first item is item 2, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Next up is approval of the consent agenda. And that is the city council minutes of January 7th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And so next we have the annual report from the fire department and EMS. So we'll turn to Chief Singles.
Thank you, Mayor. You don't mind, I'm actually seated, a little issue right now.
Yeah.
So, I seen that it was, put on the agenda, so if we just run down through this real quick and then we can answer any questions.
Sure.
There's a running total of the last, couple of years on a reserve and the TNA and the ambulance reserve fund. Last year's officers, you see there,
Yeah.
and then the incoming new officers, which doesn't change a whole lot, as you can tell. We did bring Blaine Kelly on as one of our trustees. This will be his first year in that 3-year period. Looking at EMS assets, our ambulances, got total miles and such vary, but just under 30,000 miles on 2 of them. We rotate. Something new to the ambulances this year, the state requires us every, I think it's 3 years or 5 years, I can't remember now, that they have to have a federal inspection sticker, and then
Right.
that has to be sent to the state of Iowa. So both of those were inspected and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Currently, look down through ambulance coverage, we're trying to cover all the calls with our part-time and full-time EMTs that we have during the day. And then we cover the rest of it with our EMTs that we have on the volunteer department. We have 10 EMTs on the department. You can see the breakdown there. There's 2 advanced EMTs and 8 regular EMTs. We want to thank the city again for the COVID monies for the ambulance, and just an update on that. It's looking that we may get that new ambulance in late 2026. It's been a little bit delay on getting it built, so we'll try to keep updated as that comes. GMT monies for 2024. One thing I'd like to bring up that I'm very proud of, the work that some of our folks did at the department. GMT monies was a program that government would give us, roughly when we did a ambulance call for a Medicare, Medicaid patient, we got about $100 initially for that call. It didn't come close to covering times. This GEMT program came forward. We found that we did research. The initial first year, Lee helped us get things off the ground, and we got about $400 per call back for that. As we got more familiar with the forms and what all could go and what couldn't go, we got better this past year. For 2025, we'll now be getting just over $1,400 per call. So that was a lot of work to do. But it's going to pay off in the long run for us. One thing in regards to like our EMTs, we have 4 it says 3 on there, 3 cadets, but we actually have 4 individuals that are taking the EMT training. Right now, it started in January, and that consists of, January 21st, which tonight was their first night, through March 25th, and it's 4 hours a night, 3 nights out of the week. So it's quite a commitment of time for them. Good news though, because we are really slim, when especially in the daytime and, you know, some of the hours too. As you know, the EMTs, most of them work out of town, so it's hard to staff that. Breakdown of calls this past year, we had 571, which is just a little under what we had last year. But the good news is that we did get the bill for 499 of those calls and at about somewhere around $1,200 a call. So both ambulances were out 18 times this past year. We had no crew available 5 times, so we couldn't run the ambulance. We had to tier with Johnson County, which means we needed an elevated level of care in the back of the ambulance, a paramedic for the care that was needed. So we tiered with them 6 times, and that does cost us $200 per call for them to tier with us. Did it once with Muscatine, and knock on wood, we didn't have any air cares this past year, which was good.
Good, yes.
So, jumping into the fire assets, there you got our fire vehicles all the way through there, and the miles that is currently on them. We had a total of 144 calls fire last year, which was up from 2023. We had 864 personnel responding to those 144 calls for an average number of 6 per call. We had 8 structure fires. We had 36 city calls. 3 of them required some mutual aid. We had 38 rule cars calls, and 6 of those required mutual aid. 1050s are car accidents. We had 31 of those. 21 grass fires, rubbish fires, 9 fire alarms. Our grade school can't get their fire systems squared away just yet. Quite a few calls down there for that. So, and 0 hazmat, which was good. Reported this before, but I yelled it out because in 2020 we did a recertification of all of our pumpers. And you have to do that every 5 years, so we're gonna be due this year to have the recertifications done on our main pumpers. So, we had no problems, last time. I don't anticipate any problems with them this time either. So, looking at proposed equipment and such as we move down, we're gonna go ahead and try to plan for 6 more bunker gears. We did get a few folks that have joined the fire department, and we have a cadet program that we started this past year, which we're gonna need to get those guys here. So, pocket pagers, we tried to get them last year. We had a little fight with Muscom on if we bought them. They said they belong to Muscom, and we don't think that's what it should be. So we're still kind of working some things out, so the pagers. One issue that we do have on the fire side is our air pack supply system, which is what we use to fill our air pack breathing bottles. The system is just worn out. We have bottles that require 5,500 pounds of PSI, and we can't fill the bottles up because the compressor is just worn out. We've had folks come in and look at it, and they say it just needs to be replaced. So we've replaced diaphragms, all kinds of stuff. Every month there's something they are doing, trying to work on it. It just needs to be replaced. So we also use that system to fill our rack system on top of 7-Eleven, which when we're out on a fire call, we can refill those bottles right there from the truck. So that is going to be a cost between $30,000 and $40,000. We did make a the same presentation to the rural folks, a week ago, and they did, vote affirmative to replace that air pack system, as soon as possible. 5-year plan, as you know, I know you've all seen the firefighters out west. We really think, because of the rural areas that we have and we have to cover, water is a big concern. So it would be nice if we could start moving forward to look to find that super pumper, as we talked about before. It gives us 3,000 gallons of water in the back of it, plus allows us to be a first line pumper, and it would have rescue gear on it as well. So it would serve not only as a pumper, but a tanker and rescue all at once.
Yeah.
So, we did get the brush buggies, front mount done, which is nice. We can actually man the brush buggy with a toggle switch and a hand gear, with one guy in the truck, and we can squirt grass fires and such with it, which is a lot safer for us as well. That being said, one of the brush trucks really needs to be replaced. You can tell it's been used in some off-road type stuff, and with all the heavy gear and stuff on it, it's showing its wear. We want to look at maybe getting some more rescue equipment for our aerial so that we can enhance that type of rescue. And just one example would be a basket. If you have a multi-floor, say if it's apartment building out here and there's a fire upstairs and we need to get somebody out and get on the ladder, we need the equipment to put them in a basket type thing. And that particular basket's $750 just but we're looking at just things like that to help enhance that part of the rescue section. We also have been talking about this for a couple of years, but would like to jump on it when we can. Is the 7-Eleven truck got jaws and cutters and all that kind of stuff, but they're all ran through hydraulics. When it gets cold like this, hydraulics don't work. And they're limited to how long your hose is, can go out. We do have some battery jaws and cutters and such on the other unit. It's much easier to grab that and take it off and go into a field. Most of your wrecks aren't right on the highway where you have easy access to those folks. So after that, just a listing of our folks that are on the department.
Yeah.
We do have 1, 2, 3, like I said before, folks that are on probation, 4 of them that are on probation now, which has been nice to get some of those younger folks with us. We lost 3 last year and we gained 4, so we netted 1. Plus we have these cadets that are helping us out when they can. Total combined years of service for the department is 259 years. But 124 of those years are some of us old dogs. So, we got 9 of the people on the department that have 10 years or more, and then the rest are below, well, probably below 5 years. So, one thing that I will say, anybody that's over 10 years on a department, they can retire, and they would get their fire plates and some of the other things that the state, gives us. So, that'd be a lot of us if we all needed to retire at once. I hope that don't happen, but. So, just talking about a little bit of the education over this past year, each member has to have at least 24 hours to be up to snuff with us. We had 41 hours last year, 2004. We did pumper training, rescue training, ladder training, jaws rescue, air pack, truck placement, multiple floor rescue. So we did an awful lot, barrage, to try to keep everybody in tune. EMTs takes 32 hours of recertification every 3 years. And AMTs, it's 72 hours, and paramedics is 72 hours. So that's every 2 years. It's every 2 years. We have fit testing that goes on every year, so we'll have that scheduled sometime in the spring. The life packs that we bought a couple of years ago and 22 are a 30-year life pack. They seem to be in great shape. Carlos and some of the guys have been assigned to that and take real good care of them, so that's a big plus for us. The Rescue Gator, we've used that quite a bit the last couple of months, trying to get back into the sticks where we couldn't get an ambulance through. So at Alyssa, we used it, the guy down on the river as well. So all the trucks on the fire side, I don't know if I said this or not, but I think they put just a little over 20,000 miles combined. We did remodel the fire side of the meeting room fire side, looks very good. Most of that was all done with volunteers, people on the department. And we're pretty proud of it. It looks very nice. Last year, the fire department members averaged about just a little over 1,500 hours of training and responding to calls. A lot of time. Just as a tidbit, EMS nationwide decreased by more than 30%. Iowa decreased by 33%, so a little above the national average. And as far as volunteer fire departments, they decreased by 40%. So that's it.
All right, thank you.
We're actually already at 40 EMS calls from first of
For
the year.
January.
So that's up to a day.
Couple of things I thought from your report that I wanted to comment on. One is the EMT training. I did that many years ago, and it's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty difficult training for folks to go through. So I'm very glad we've got that many people that are signed up.
Emergency medicine has evolved so much.
Yes,
Even in the last 10 years, we're doing much more in the site, on the home, in the back of the ambulance than before we get to the hospital.
the other is the inspections that you mentioned in the report. Shows that devotion to care of the equipment, which we greatly appreciate. But with that, I'll open it up to council for comments or questions for the chief.
That was a very thorough report. And
Yes.
It was very interesting to read down through it.
Thank you.
Meticulous, keeping track of everything and stuff. So we all appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, most of us run out of burning buildings, so we appreciate the fact that you run into burning buildings. And I think last year we stood and clapped for the work that you do. So if I want to do that.
Like I said, you guys, I've been on the department for several years, and you guys have been absolutely terrific. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better police department. And Hauser, I'm sure he's the guy that's
Good.
cracking the whip, and they all participate and help out whenever they can.
Good. That is excellent to hear too, that we like to cooperation among departments in the city. So thank you. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll move on to the item 5, other reports. First of all, we don't have the city engineer here tonight. You have what the report is?
So Leo apologized. He had trouble on his way here. It has to be on his way. We just were gonna touch base on well number 2. The pump is working. The staff had been working through some of the issues with the pump. They were actually able to get it up to the generation that they needed. However, it would not hold. And so there's just some additional work that needs to be done with the pump in order to get it to hold the gallon flow that we're required to have. So hopefully, he reported that Northway is planning on being here this week to look at what else they could do as far as making sure that the pump flow continues. I think one of the issues was with our SCADA system, so there was the computer talking to the system as it was pumping, it wasn't working, but then staff identified that and were able to resolve that, so we'll have an update on that, hopefully from staff. Might possibly just send you a quick update at the end of this week on where we're at with that pumping system. We continue to work on the capital improvement plans. And so that's tied into the water and the sewer rate study, due to some additional things that we're having to add when we were looking at street upgrades. That's allowing us to take another look at the sewer and the water rates. We went in depth on that about a week ago. And then we had a meeting with West Liberty Foods to talk about phase one. We discussed some options for funding the upgrade, and I believe Leo's supposed to get back with us, because they're working through those options. So we can take it to, so West Liberty Foods can take it up to their board. And that's all that he would have had.
Okay, any questions for the city engineer's report via the city manager? All right, next up, the reports are in. Craig's report is also, he mentioned meeting with West Liberty Foods, if I remember correctly, in the report, so.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, any questions for Craig? Or Ally's report is also Ally made the newspaper last week for 5 years of service as librarian, and Brittany's report is there, and the safety report, as well as Father Guillermo's report on funds that he uses for this or distributes for the city. Any questions on any of those reports? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports, and there are no committee reports that I'm aware of. So next up is item number 6, vendor voucher claim list number 1 for $1,058,110.39. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion approved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the list is approved. Next up is public comments. This is a time that's set aside for members of the public to to talk about issues or topics of city government other than those that are listed on the agenda. We ask that you state your name and address for the record and keep your comments to no more than 2 minutes. Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? So moving on, we'll move on to council member public comments and correspondence, and start with council member Martinez.
I've received nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
I have received several concerns voiced by several people in the public that are extremely worried and concerned about immigration. Immigration now in light of a new federal administration. So several people have reached out and they were concerned about what was happening in the city and surrounding areas. And if there were going to be some of our community at risk. So I naturally spoke with Police Chief Hauser and City Manager Geertz, and I believe that they're aware.
Thank you. Councilmember Dominguez.
I've had conversations about the same concerns, so I was happy to hear that Mayor Pro Tem McFerren was on it and being proactive and looking out. And that was all.
Okay. Councilmember Parizek.
I have not received anything lately.
Okay. All right. How about city manager?
Just in line with what, Mayor Pro Tem McFerren has communicated, I know the chief and I both spoke with, Councilmember McFerren, and we also sent some emails. We're working on a public statement, that will go to communications to provide, to minimize, the fear and provide facts, of how we provide community policing and the expectation that's set by mayor and council, with our police department, and that our police chief manages and engages in that community policing expectation. That's what we're here to do, is protect and serve our community and build a rapport and relationship, no matter what the status of our individuals are here in our community. It's not that we're turning a blind eye, but it's simply not the position of the West Liberty Police Department or the city to enforce in an immigration law. And just also to be clear that if a situation would occur where the federal department is taking steps, or they're coming to the community, that is not communicated regularly to local government or a local police department. Those things are usually handled with them. If it would be something that did get communicated, we are not in a position to provide it, simply from a liability from the city between that relationship with the federal. But in most cases that they've ever been in our community, we've not had any type of prior notice that they were going to be. Our job, if in case, and I'll have chief, emphasize on this as well. If a situation would happen to, as the community police officers, the community staff and our leaders are to hear, what we can do is continue to support within our ability, a safe environment, provide any information as far as resources to individuals that could be possibly impacted. And we would still continue that community policing and support that we already have in place. Chief, I didn't know if you had anything more you'd like to add with your information from where you are.
Yeah, right now, there's no plans in place. Governor Reynolds spoke on the plans right now. She's not been apprised of any plans moving forward this time. She's letting President Trump handle that situation. So I can't really speculate what the plans are if the governor's not involved, or she's gonna advise what's gonna happen moving forward. I know she's emphasized on using the ICE federal agency instead of local law enforcement and the National Guard. Right now, all we do is enforce state, local ordinances, and we worry about public safety. Those are our main priorities.
Can I add one thing? A couple months ago too, I did provide Chief Hauser with the Mexican consulate's 24-hour. It's a cell phone. It goes directly to somebody. That's for our folks who are from Mexico that may have questions or be facing anything, that they are there to provide support and help. So he has that information. All his officers should have that information, and I'm still looking into if something like that is possible to provide for other countries, people from other countries in Latin America specifically as well. So
Resources are also available.
at the library. Okay, good.
All right, anything further, City Manager Geertz?
Mr. Mayor,
All right, City Clerk?
do not have anything at this time.
Okay, then we will move on to item number 8, which 8A is resolution 2025-0121-211. A resolution approving the signing of the 28E agency agreement and the memorandum of understanding. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. And there's a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion?
Can I say something?
Yeah, yes.
I'm just really, really happy to see this on our agenda, and I thank you, Mayor, for letting us vote on this. And, I thank you to Councilmember Shiltz for, taking the baton and leading us into, getting this getting this taken care of, and I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited to be able to do this for the fire department. And then Eric, I know you and Mindy, with the chief's help, I know oftentimes spent lots and lots of hours to draft these up, and so thank you so much. And then Mark and, and
Dick.
Dick Brands coming to every meeting, even during farming season, your dedication and everything is commendable, and it just shows how our community can come together and can figure this stuff out together, and I'm just really excited that it's here and that we can vote on it today. So thank you all for all of the things that you did to make this happen.
Is there other discussion or comments from members of the council? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Shiltz,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay. I want to take a moment. This has been a long time in coming. And as I understand it, the last two signatures that are needed on this are the city clerk's signature and my signature on this.
We had two trustees, Tom and I have to sign it also.
Have to sign it also. Well, good. We have an area back here for the signing. And I would invite the rural trustees, the members of the fire department, and the members of the city council to join us back here for signing. And Chief, we can arrange a chair for you too. So, yeah, so come on back. we have 2 or 3 other items to cover in council. I know what you came for, and if you don't want to stay for those other items, you're not offensive if you want to leave.
I think we'll throw another log on the fire.
Yeah. Don't blame you there.
Thank you all.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we are ready for,
Flick a switch at my place.
we're ready for item number 8B, resolution 2024-25-0121-212, a resolution appropriating $100,000 from lost to the West Liberty Library, Public Library. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
And there is a second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
All right, McFerren,
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Great, okay. Now we're ready for item 8C, resolution 2024-0121-213, a resolution to approve the proposed cost for Harn RO for performing chemical cleanup in place on RO train number 1 and RO train number 2 and second stages for the West Liberty Water Treatment Plant. Is
Sorry, did I jump the gun?
there is a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, so, what you're approving here, the, reverse osmosis system requires maintenance and, originally, we had another couple of years before the maintenance was going to be required. However, our, farm had, as they were here doing well number 2, they went ahead and did the testing on the filtration and the system and stated that it was going to have to be cleaned sooner than later. So we felt that it was best to go ahead and put this before you so we can proceed. Because without it being maintenance as it should, it could cause some more financial problematic situations. It also requires more chlorine chemical to be used with the system if it's not maintenance correctly, which can cause, more cost in the water fund as well. So our recommendation is to approve so we can proceed.
There further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Next up is item 8D, and I want to say that the training, safety training that the city of West Liberty has been doing has paid off tremendously for this community. So we have resolution 2025-0121-214, a resolution accepting the 2025 safety training schedule. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
So, Mr. Mayor, we, with discussion with, Adam Reinhardt and, communicate and even with Brittany, we recommended to bring the resolution. Past practice hasn't brought the schedule before you, but, staff is looking for transparency. And part of holding accountability is putting that before you and having you approve it by resolution. And it's also tied to performance evaluations as well.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you all have considered any of this or if it's applicable to municipalities, but the training that I went to in December in Maryland, that's why I was at Gettysburg, is the National Emergency Management Institute. And they will actually reimburse your airfare and they provide your housing for these FEMA trainings. And they are really, really beneficial, like for, you know, if Brittany wanted to go to like PIO training, or if any of the police officers wanted to go to training about how to mitigate like crisis events in our town, or if any of the fire department folks wanted to go, it's like a huge, it's a huge experience, and you get certification and everything. So if that's not something that you all have looked at as a safety committee, Brittany's saying yes, maybe.
I've looked at, yeah.
Okay, but it's definitely, I can send you like the link to all of the information, and it's really helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Other comments from council members? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Dominguez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Last up is resolution 2025-0121-215, a resolution approving payment to, I'd say NALEO, but it may be, used as an acronym, for the council member Martinez and council member Dominguez. And I think council member Dominguez has reminded us that other members of the council can participate this as well, but this is follow-up to our discussion in the last council meeting for approval for these two members of our council. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Or is there discussion?
I think it's a really good program to have for us to be included. It's just not. They just don't focus on municipalities, but more of this nation-wide crisis and situations and problems going on. And I think they think very futuristic of communities, not just what is happening now, but they need to expand a lot of things.
And I mentioned last time that if possible, I'd like for the participants to give us a rundown after the training of things, so we can incorporate that in our planning as a community.
Yeah, it is a. I think trainings you have to be. That's the first one I went to. I think you prepare yourself a little bit mentally because they are very long.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So you have.
Yeah.
For the next one, I already know.
Yeah.
There is a lot of information. And every year they switch cities, so it's never at the same city.
And topics,
And topics.
very beneficial.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez.
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Last item is item number 9. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion. Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. We are adjourned.